How about drums? An instrument everybody loves. Let's get down, to the beat, to the beat.
Hanging with Nate the drummer.
Hanging with Nate the drummer.
All right.
I love the
how's
intro.
this? You like that? I made that myself.
You did?
Yeah.
Who was
Yeah,
doing
my
the high?
daughter.
Oh,
My
I was
daughter.
gonna ask. Do you have a daughter? Because it sounds like me and my daughter messing around with stuff.
I got 4 girls and a little boy.
How old are they?
It's a range. My oldest is 19, and then 16, 15, 10, and my little boy is 5.
Oh wow, all with the same mom.
No, it's a blended family.
Blended family. Yep.
Yep.
That's great. I grew up with 2 stepbrothers, and I think that the blended family works really well for a lot of reasons. I think one of the main reasons is if you work it out right, sometimes you get days off from children.
Yeah. Yeah. Not when you have 5 of them. It's like 2
so
will
it's
go,
all-
and I still got 3. You know, like, or whatever.
You're like, God,
Very
2's
rarely.
gone. Now we got 3.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got a 3-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter.
Oh man. So you get it.
Yep. Yep.
It's always funny when I tell people I have 4 daughters, and they're like, "Oh, the face is always the same." Like, "Oh, you poor man."
Right.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on. I really
Thank
do.
you so much for having me. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I heard you guys, and I was like, I got to try to talk to you guys. You know.
We're always down to do the podcast thing because I think it's such a cool way for people to discover new music and to get to know you more personally, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean, when COVID started back in April, is when I started this last April. So I'm still
Yep.
fairly new. Like I said, I have no budget, just me and I'm in my bedroom trying to make it look all right, you know.
Yeah.
But and I did it because I've been a drummer for over 20 years, and I've known
Right.
a lot of people in bands. I was in a reggae
Uh-huh.
band
Oh,
called
cool.
Sweet Ruckus. So,
Nice.
so I get it, you know, but knowing a lot of people, it's just nice to show people new music, because right now music really needs help, you know.
For sure. And it's a cool way for people to discover music, and you get to take the people that you've met and expose them to your people, and their people get exposed to your podcast. It's just a cool thing.
Yeah, and it's really neat to
Like
see
a
the
virtual high
analytics.
five.
Yeah. Yes. So I got a bunch of questions. I'll try to squeeze them in. I know you're limited to time.
For sure.
Speaking of daughters, you got to go pick them up. I get it. Dad
Yep.
life.
Ad life. Yep. Which has been the one blessing of the COVID era, is to have extra dad life, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. So how old were you when you first discovered music?
Man, I don't think I'd be able to answer that question. My earliest memories of listening to music would be really when I took music, you know, by the balls, and was like
Yeah.
trying to discover it. I think was the Columbia House. I don't know how old you are. I'm 38.
Oh, I'm 42. So yeah, we're right
Okay.
there.
Do you remember Columbia House?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So the Columbia House, for those millennials and people that don't know, was that you sent in an order form,
These little stickers.
and you sent them 1 penny, and
Oh.
and you were able to get 10 at that time cassette tapes for 1 penny. But the thing is, with they would send, it was a subscription model, so then they would send you a couple of cassette tapes each month, and if you didn't return them, then you owed the money. But if you kept them, I mean, you could send them back if you didn't want them.
What a genius scam.
All my friends would just join and then quit, and then join another one and quit, and try to make out with 30 cassette tapes. So I said to myself, man, my parents like music. My mom liked the blues. She liked gospel. I was raised listening to a lot of Indian music because she's not Hindu, but she's a white lady that got into yoga and meditation. So I would spend my summers at this kind of visiting with this guru that she was following, and I went to India when I was 6. So there's a lot of the blues and the gospel and the stuff that she was into in college that she was kind of would play for me. But there's also a lot of Hindu music, chanting, kind of spiritual, religious kind of stuff. And then my dad's side, he's really into, well, he listens to everything, but he really exposed me a lot to, like, when I'd see him on the weekends, we go to the arcade, we do fun stuff. Some of my greatest memories are with him going go-karts, but always on the drives, he would play me, "Hey Brett, check this out," and he'd play me like Led Zeppelin 2, or like
My
Crosby,
dad as
Stills,
well. Yep.
Nash and Young, Deja Vu, or um, Rolling Stones, or my first reggae I ever listened to was Peter Tosh, Bush Doctor, because he had discovered Peter Tosh from doing the song with Mick Jagger, "You Got to Walk But Don't Look Back." So then he decided to buy Peter Tosh. So it was, he was very into like the 70s rock thing. He liked, some a little bit more progressive stuff too, like kind of a little bit nerdier, like Jethro Tull in Chicago, and stuff like that
Mhm.
just he probably had heard on the radio or had listened to in college. So not so much into the psychedelic stuff or Grateful Dead or stuff like that, but Beatles, just
Oh yeah.
just kind of that, that era of stuff. So that was kind of me growing up. So then when I did the Columbia House, I said, "Hey mom and dad," like I was too young to ask my friends,
Yeah.
and it I think I did ask my friends, but like I don't think my parents were letting me get what they told me to get. They wanted me to get like, you know, 2 Live Crew and, whatever.
NWA.
Yeah, whatever 80s and early 90s like rap was popping, but my
Yeah.
parents were like, and then my metalhead friends were probably like telling me to get. So I was just like, I'll just go with, what they'll allow me, whatever. So, I think I got like a Sean Lennon, not Sean Lennon, a John Lennon cassette tape. I was so disappointed with that. It was like him and Yoko Ono, Double Fantasy. I thought the
Oh
cover looked cool, and I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, my dad loves the Beatles. This is going to be great." It was like that was a bad choice.
The
I didn't like
Plastic
that
Ono
one.
band.
Yeah, I didn't like that one, but I loved Led Zeppelin 2. Um,
Mhm.
Loved Crosby, Stills, Deja Vu.
Yeah.
The choices that I made of the stuff that my dad was listening to in the car, was nice to listen to. And then it just kind of expanded from there. But that's kind of, the nucleus of
Yeah.
the listening experience.
And that's one thing as a dad you don't realize. Like, I find myself influencing my kids like I was influenced by my dad, and
Yeah.
it's with this generation, it's getting a little harder, Um, I
I
can
was
remember.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say I've had a little bit of a difficulty influencing at this
Yeah.
point.
It's like, come on, you don't need trap music. There's other older stuff.
However, for me, I guess it's good because I'm always staying on the precipice of what the sound is. I wouldn't be. I listen to pop and in R&B and hip hop in the car. I prefer
Mhm.
like that and EDM and stuff that's upbeat, so I'm not tired.
Yeah.
Like you know, listening to reggae or whatever it is. Like,
Mhm.
plus I like to study like the song formats of like, okay, what are they doing in here? And like, I don't want my music to sound like that glossy and
Yeah.
manufactured, but I do like figuring out the puzzle pieces of like
Mhm.
when are they dropping the music and where's the bridge and the pre-chorus and like that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
my 8-year-old daughter and her best friend are like obsessed with TikTok, so they're always want me to play Spotify viral hits, and they're always on the cutting edge of like they'll be listening to a song and I'll be like, this is kind of whack, but okay. And then
Yeah,
like
me too.
a couple months later, it'll be number one on the Billboard charts because that is dictating
Oh yeah.
what's going to happen later. So they're almost like major tastemakers at this point, which is very strange.
Yeah.
And
I forget the other day, one of my daughters I said something, and she's like, "That's a TikTok sound." I was like, "No, that's not where it came from originally."
yeah,
I was like, "Well, that's where I heard it."
like months and months and months and months ago, they showed me that song. Why you always in the mood? You know that song, and now it's
Yeah.
like now it's number one on the Billboard charts, and radio is playing it and stuff. But this was before they're
Mhm.
like, "Hey, Daddy, I really like this song," and I'm like, it was doing well on Spotify, obviously
Yeah.
because of TikTok or because it was a good song or whatever. But there, I don't think there was a music video yet, and it definitely wasn't on radio, and so on and so forth. So that's been an interesting experience, being
Mhm.
influenced by them and in that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And I'm a wedding DJ, so you said TikTok, and I get a lot of like little kids come up. Can you do the dance, the one that goes, like, and I'm like, luckily I kind of know TikTok, but
Yeah.
yeah, I get a lot of that. And then I remember I played I'm a Savage, and I had
Yeah.
only heard 15 seconds of that. If you listen to the whole
Right.
song, you'd be like, and I watched this girl dance to this, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just played this. Never knew the whole song was as bad as it is. I'm like,
Right. I mean, so
you live and learn.
for me, I'm like, because of what I was listening, like we were talking about NWA, Two Live Crew,
Yeah.
like when that stuff comes on, I'm like, even though they're young, I'm like, I was doing this. I was doing the same. I
Yeah.
was listening. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, as long as you're not getting pregnant, as long as you're not doing
Exactly.
drugs, as long as these major life issues aren't, and you're doing good in school. Couple songs with
Yeah.
some questionable content. Would I rather be listening to the Kids Bop version? Yes.
Yeah.
As a parent, no. As a musician,
My youngest son and my 10-year-old daughter were running around singing guac instead of wop. And I was like, wait, what? Yeah, guac, guac, guac. I was like, I don't
like
even want to know what that's about.
guacamole.
Yeah. I was like, okay. So yeah, that's on YouTube somewhere. I have yet to hear it. I should
That
probably
could
look
be a
it up.
dance, like you're dipping the guac. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But if you think about it with the WAP, ugh.
yep. You dip the guac in the wop, and
Woo! Stay away from that WAP. I also played the edited version of that at a wedding when it came out. The WAP,
yeah.
and the edited version is they say wet and gushy instead of what it really is, and I think that's even grosser than the original. I'm like, and that's WAG. That's not even WAP. It's WAG.
Yeah,
You know?
and it sounds like something maybe like after a field hockey game or something like.
Yeah, yeah. I took my shoulder pads off and they were wet and gushy.
Yeah. Did a basketball game, man. Like,
yeah. Anyway, enough of this bad new music. Let's talk about you guys.
sure,
How did you guys all come about? How
man.
did the bands form?
It's just kind of an organic process. I was into punk rock and hip hop and skateboarding, and after listening to my dad and my mom's stuff, I just kind of started to rebel a little bit, and started smoking weed and partying and skateboard culture, and influenced by a lot of like the West Coast kind of stuff because I was into skateboard culture. So you know there was a time and place where like punk rock and ska and Reggae-Rock were just like the music and skateboarding videos.
Yeah,
um and then it transitioned kind of into hip hop a little bit in the skateboarding videos, underground hip hop. So that's just kind of rebellious music, Rage Against the Machine, just stuff that like
oh yeah,
emotionally connected with me. And then I would like learn about life and what they're saying, and they're actually saying something. And I'll never forget that Rage Against the Machine album where you open it up and there were Zach De La Roca and Tom Morello and the band put 20 or 30 books in there that were like revolutionary books. And I went out and I bought all the
yeah,
books, and I wanted to know where are these ideas coming from? Yeah, they're influenced by Public Enemy and all these acts that are, trying to change the world and such. But, where did all these people get these ideas? So just, that was enjoyable. And I had this friend that we had started kind of like a punk band, and we were like, no, let's do metal. And he was singing, and I couldn't figure out how to sing and play the guitar. Um, I started taking a guitar class in junior high. I got a guitar for $5 from a buddy. I showed it on the last podcast I have. It's got Misfit stickers and no strings on it, and like,
That's great.
but the teacher started teaching us "Not Fade Away," which the Grateful Dead eventually covered, old rock and roll classic, and started teaching us the guitar parts. And I was like, you know what, this is pretty cool. Like, I was an artist at the time, but I was like, this is a cool thing, and started jamming with some friends and started learning some Black Sabbath riffs, and eventually started learning some jam band stuff. My friends were taking me to see Fish because we were from New Hampshire, and it was like around 96 or 97 when I first saw them. So it started to get kind of, all these influences started to circle around, and I was like, started to write some metal songs and some punk songs. And then I wrote my first kind of Reggae-Rock song after hearing Sublime, because I was like, man, this band has metal and punk and hip hop, and they covered the Dead Scarlet Begonias. And I was like, this band is like, like my friend was like, I have this band that you're going to love. Cause I already liked, 311 Grassroots, and and so he showed me 40 Ounces to Freedom. And I was like, man, this fusion is sick. It's like all the music that I like in one band, but it's not cheesy. It's like, it makes sense. It's like a sound collage. It's like,
Totally.
I just connected with it. And I was like, man, if I had a band, I'd want it to sound like this. But the one thing that I didn't connect fully with at the time was lyrically, it wasn't negative, but Bradley was talking about a lot of pain, and I'm in New Hampshire. I'm in the woods. I'm having fun. I'm a teenager. Not to say I didn't have,
the struggles and
struggles and stuff, but I'm not addicted to heroin, like living in a crack den recording on a 4-track, like in Southern California. I'm in the winter in New Hampshire. So like, I was like, man, I'd love to combine like Operation Ivy and the Sublime sound and all this stuff, and the with a little bit of like more of like the jam band psychedelic culture that was kind of permeating in New Hampshire, because there was a lot of festivals like all the time, with like 30 different underground bands, and people were trading the live tapes, and the scene was just blossoming. So I was like, getting into shows under the age of 18, because it was 18 plus and stuff. And so I was like, man, I want to combine those two styles together, so my goal was like, take this West Coast thing, combine it with this East Coast, Northeast jam thing, and like that would be dope. Like, that's because I wanted to create something like new, not just copy, whatever. So that was my goal, and I found some guys to do it with, and we did it for fun. And then I went to college, and we did it for fun, and started to play some shows, and people started to go. And then the lineup changed a little bit with some of the people that I met in college, specifically our keyboardist Tal, that plays with us to this day. And we started playing, college parties, and we were like, hey, let's play a club, or so we played a club in Brattleboro, Vermont. It sold out. We played a club in Northampton, Mass, and it sold out. We played a club in New Hampshire, and it sold out. And we were kind of like, well, I guess, we were just doing this for fun. It was like a party band, but I'm like, maybe this could be like a career. And at the time I was going to be like an artist and a graphic designer. But when I saw like, chicks dancing on tables and people singing the words and like, all this crazy shit, I was like, that's a lot cooler than like, hey, would you like to check out my painting of it, whatever. So that's kind of like, fast forward to maybe like 2004, 2005, we recorded like just a album, the best we could, and bought a van, moved in together in a house, because my friend was like, that's how you do, you just move in together and get a van. So that's what I was building the email list and like handing out flyers, but I was like, whatever anybody told me, I was like, okay, that's what we did. And, just kind of built it grassroots style.
That is cool. I mean, yeah, Sublime really, there was some time, like you said, the struggle. And I think of one line that really gets me every time is, "One day I'm going to lose the war." I'm like, wow, he did. He
That's
knew it.
brutal. And then he hits the E minor chord afterwards.
Yeah, like, what a song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
and it's
brutal song. We've done some work with Brad's sister and his family's organization, the Noel family. Just trying to give back to the legacy. They're trying to build a house for musicians and artists that are struggling with addiction or mental health issues, and they don't have a place to go, and they want to get sober so that
oh,
people
wow,
don't end up like what
that's
happened to
cool.
Bradley. He didn't really probably have the support that he needed maybe to get
Yeah,
through that. So we've been able to do live streams and raise money, and the last tour I did, I was a solo acoustic tribute to Brad, and we sold some of the Bradley's uh, house merchandise, and then we're a part of this compilation that just dropped with like 50 bands on it. Hit #1 on the reggae Billboard charts, which he would have been probably pretty stoked about.
yeah.
That he was being recognized by the reggae community because he had such a love for it, and I think they were able to raise so far like 25 grand for the organization. So that's pretty cool, coming full circle to that's where our band name came from, because it was like a B
Yeah, I
side
was
on
gonna
the
ask.
Badfish CD. I was like, this is a dope name for a band. Nobody will ever figure out that I got this from the band Sublime, because it was a B side, and like only way you could get
Ah,
it at that point in time was a CD single. I don't know if you remember those, but like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a Badfish CD single, and I got it to be a collectible because it
Uh-huh.
had that just like a
That's awesome.
7-inch. It had the B side, and nobody's ever gonna figure it out because there was no internet. Like if you don't know, if you don't
Yeah.
have the single,
If
and
you
it's
don't
like
have it, you
nobody
don't
will ever
know.
figure. Well, then they blew up my spot with the box set and all these releases.
It all came out. It's funny because I was sitting here while I was waiting for you. I was sitting here singing "Roots of Creation."
Yeah,
I am living in a plastic nation. Because he's
yeah,
one of the voices that I always felt that, like, I'm not really a great singer. I'm more of a mimic. I always felt.
uh-huh.
So, but he does have that voice, that just it feels natural when I sing it. So hearing you sing it honestly reminds me that if Bradley was still here making music. So I thank you for that
Thank you
from
very
my
much.
heart.
That means the world to me. He's definitely my #1 vocal influence because, like I was saying before, he took all these different styles. And then
Hmm.
from there, I was able to go back, just like with Rage Against the Machine, and go, who's Barrington Levy? Who's
Hmm.
Yellow Man? And I was already being
Yeah.
told by my mom's friend, who was, in New Hampshire, was like one of the only, non-white people, making me reggae mixtapes and being like, hey, Brett, it's cool that you like this kind of stuff, but like, this
Right.
is actually really reggae.
Yeah.
What you're listening to is not reggae, Brett. Like this is, so she's showing me like Black Uhuru and
Mm.
all this stuff. And I'm going, oh, okay, I see, you know, and then it kind of all made sense, with what my mom's religion was kind of teaching about, all people are one people, and, you
Yeah.
know, this is the origin of the universe, and all these spiritual things that I was kind of like thought were cool. And then I was a teenager and I was like, fuck this shit. And
Yeah.
then,
Right.
and then, and then,
And
I,
now you're
but
back
then,
to it going,
then I'm
oh.
like smoking and I'm like listening to reggae and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
they're saying the same stuff. This is the same stuff that's in the Bible. This is the same stuff that's in, all these spiritual texts.
Mm.
Um, and I just kind of, grasped onto that.
Yeah, I know how because I was in a reggae band and we did more Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, we did
Yeah.
Johnny B. Good,
Uh-huh.
more of but it did feel weird being a white guy, it was always like, if I went to Jamaica, would they be cool with me? Or would they be like,
Yeah.
because we were, but when I drum to it, it's almost because I'm a left-handed drummer,
Uh-huh.
but I can never get the one drop. Like you got to be like so high, I think, to play the, because it's just like, it's not
It's
one,
a
two,
hard
three,
beat.
four. It's yeah, you just kind of, yeah, there's a bass drum in here somewhere, whatever. It's just I actually play reggae better or like that when I'm right-handed. Like if I try to play right-handed, because it just
Right.
is so unnatural. It's
And I
weird.
and I and I think that beat, while it's a great beat, and I just don't gravitate. I don't really
Yeah,
gravitate towards that beat, and that's one thing that I liked about this West Coast reggae rock kind of style
yeah.
was they were playing, you know, almost rock or hip hop beats with the
And
skank.
that's what I did. I
You know,
adapted because I grew up on classic rock too and a
yeah,
rock and roll kind of thing. So when my friend who's really into Bob Marley and wanted to do it, I was like, all right, and it's weird how things start. I needed a place to store my drums, and he was like, "Hey, you want to keep them here?" And then poof, you know how it
right,
goes. So
totally,
yeah, and that was probably my, it was like 3 or 4 years. Got to do some gigs. That was the first time after years of jamming with people. Like, oh, we're gonna start a band. You know how it goes.
exactly, for sure. I mean, your mention on like, what would the Jamaicans think? I think that they get, I can't speak for them, but
Right.
I just went to Jamaica for the first time right before COVID hit, as a present. Um,
That's cool.
and it was just an amazing experience. And it seems like, and this is just my experience in life, the only people that have given us grief are super uptight, judgmental white journalists.
Yeah, I could see
Uh,
that.
and the people that have given me props a lot of the times are, Jamaicans, because they can understand that I'm coming at it from a different perspective, and I
Mhm.
might throw a patois word in here or there.
Right.
Um, but it's they like when you come original, or if you're gonna
Yeah.
come off if you're gonna come authentic, you better fucking
Yeah.
know what's up. But I mean, to traditional reggae to them, I feel like is almost like classic rock and Led Zeppelin to us. Because
Right. Yeah.
when you go over there, like they're like listening to like a fusion of, you know, trap and dance hall, or you
Mhm.
know, there's this underground hip hop movement coming out of Jamaica that has no patois whatsoever, and it's just all straight, hip hop, or like, you know, they have the roots revival music with, Protege and Chronics, and you know all these new acts, but the beat is a lot of times a step is beat, which is close to the, you know,
Yeah.
West Coast beat. It's not, it's different, but I mean, you're a drummer. Like
Mhm.
it's more of a four on the floor, like driving. You know,
Yeah.
it so they're not going backwards. They're always going forward. So
Mhm.
you know, I think that they would respect whether you're trying to pay tribute to something or whether you're trying to create something new. I think that they can smell bullshit a mile away, and if
Yeah.
they think
Yeah.
you're playing around with their culture and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt. We would play like Soul Rebel, all the really good ones, and
Yep.
just doing it, you know, smoking up, playing some songs,
Yep.
it does help, that's for sure. It's like a prerequisite in a reggae band.
Yep. I always
Hey
kind of
man,
looked at Brad as
it's
like almost,
3:55. Are you okay? Still on time? Or do you have to? I could
yeah,
sit
I'm
here and
good.
talk to you forever.
Yeah, I'm good. It's snowing out, so I would
Ah,
say I would say I got another like maybe 10 minutes or something like that.
all right. Yeah, I mean, I got
Yeah.
a whole bunch of questions, but it's up.
Yeah.
I get it.
Fire away. I'll be less long-winded.
All right, let's see. I got some this or that. How about
Fire away.
that? I go on my phone and I write all these questions. I really put thought into them. So,
Yeah, I could tell.
um,
This or that.
so
I like that.
Sublime or Sublime with Rome?
Sublime 100%.
Yeah, yeah. I feel bad, but
I did get to
let's
see
see.
Sublime with Rome a couple times. Played with the Dirty
Still
Heads.
good.
I got to meet them. I got to do bong hits with Eric. I
Oh
had a
man.
good experience. Some of the original songs are actually pretty well written.
Mm,
I originally was like a little bit torn aback when they were using the name Sublime, just because for
Yeah.
me, I knew Bradley, he owned the trademark. So
Mhm.
then, if he owns the trademark and then his family's
Yeah.
deciding what to do with it, then
Mhm.
it's not, I don't, you can't go back and go, hey, Bradley, are you cool with the two
Yeah.
guys carrying on the legacy that are your bandmates,
Right.
right? Because he owned the name, right?
Yeah,
So,
that had to
but
be weird.
you can't ask him. So what do you
Yeah.
do? So
You ask the family and hope for the best.
I feel like they came to like a happy medium, with
Oh,
they added
definitely.
the with Rome when they were originally going to
Mhm.
do it just the name. I didn't think that was cool, but I feel like they struck a compromise in
Yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah. All right. Bob Marley or Peter Tosh?
This is a tough one for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back and forth all the time. I'd say of the entire catalog, you got to pick Bob Marley because it's a bigger catalog. But there's
Mhm.
some Peter Tosh songs like "I Am That I Am," and that verse and "Get Up, Stand Up." That song would not be the same without his
Yeah.
kind of like almost it's almost dance hall a little bit, like
Mhm.
before dance hall was a thing. And we have a vast amount of respect for both families. Steven was on Fire in the Mountain. His
That's cool.
family and Tough Gong have been really nice to us and helped us out. And his team is there, the Marley family team, much respect to them, but also the Tosh team, his granddaughters and daughters have this great foundation, and we've done some work with them, and they've allowed us even to take over his social media and play some tribute
Oh,
sets.
wow.
So that's a tough question for me.
I don't mean to get you in trouble. I promise.
But I would say,
Uh,
at the end of the day,
yeah.
Bob's catalog is so vast that I would have to, if you put a gun to my head, I would have to pick
Do it. All right. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
100% Rolling Stones.
Really? Oh, I'm a Beatles
Never.
guy.
My dad loves the Beatles. My mom loves the Beatles. Just can't get in touch with the songwriting and the silly words. Frank Zappa and
Oh,
Fish are really the only two kind of weird word story kind of
yeah.
bands that I can get with. Like I've tried to get into Ween. The Beatles, like nothing to knock them, but when I gravitate towards the Beatles, it's the poppy ones, the Hey Jude, the
Mhm.
Imad, you know, the,
Let It
those kind.
Be. Or,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of McCartney songs. That's just me. Like,
I like the White Album.
yeah, the White Album's great. I mean, they're great. It's just sometimes it gets a little hokey for me. Rolling
Mhm.
Stones is like raw energy,
Yeah, that's true. I get
and my
that.
dad's into the Stones, so that's just where I'm coming from.
All right. This next one, I don't know if you heard of these, but Radio Dread. You
Uh
ever hear
huh.
the Radio Dread album?
Of
Or
course.
Dub Side of the Moon?
Um, I would go Dub Side of the Moon. I really love the Citizen Cope version of Karma Police on Radio Dread.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, and I really like him as an artist. But Dub Side of the Moon, I think I would say is a superior album. Superior
It
album.
really is. Like listening to it, it's not hokey like, and it's hard. I don't know how anybody could do Pink Floyd, let alone do it reggae, like
Yep.
and do it justice. Yeah, that's one um yeah, I really liked. I was surprised when it came out and you listening, being a Pink Floyd fan, I'm like, wow, okay, that's how they interpreted it. Okay.
Yeah. Another set of good people that I've got to know over the past over a decade. Easy Star All Stars. We did a show with them in Denver, and we've been
They're
in touch with them
impressive.
for a long time. They're great musicians, great team, really good people.
Mhm. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so that's all I have for those.
Oh, those are
um
good.
Um, I had
You ever
a cover idea for you.
Okay.
Spearhead's "Hole in a Bucket."
Love it. Hole in a bucket, dear
Uh,
Liza.
Yeah, I always loved it, because it's so, it still speaks today. People walk down the street to see somebody homeless, they dismiss them, and the whole time he's trying to help the dude, like, no, dude, you got a hole in your pocket, man. I'm just trying to help. Okay, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't have any change, man.
That's
So
old school. I mean,
that could be a cool song.
that was before it was Michael Franti and Spearhead. It was just straight up Spearhead before he was kind of had an organic following, major label stuff.
Yeah,
I remember seeing him in 98, 99 at a festival, jam band festival in the rain. And he was like a preacher and he just brought the vibes. And I got to
that's
jam
cool,
with him at Slightly Stupid Closer to the Sun. And
man.
fingers crossed, would love to have him on Grateful Dead Volume 2. He said that he really liked Volume 1.
Oh
So
wow, that's cool.
he's a really good person. We got to have dinner in Pittsburgh and, you know, he actually is who he portrays on stage. And,
That's cool.
you know,
Yeah. It's got to be so surreal for you, having this level of fame and meeting these people that, you've admired. Like, I don't know how you don't like get giddy. Hey, buddy, how
I,
you doing?
yeah, I just try to treat people how I would like to be treated. It gets weird when somebody's like, like that. And you're like,
Oh my God, you're you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God, you're you. That's great. Just treat me normal. Let's just talk
Yeah.
about, him and G Love definitely listened to for a long time prior and, was pretty excited to meet them and then to have them be, you know, um, people that I jam with and people that I communicate
Yeah, it's
with
crazy.
is pretty awesome. And I just, it's cool to see people, build grassroots careers like them and Slightly Stupid and just maintain that humbleness and always be willing to take a picture or sign something for somebody or, bring somebody on stage or raise money for a cause. I mean, those are real artists that,
Hmm.
started from
Definitely.
nothing and, developed an amazing thing. It's who I kind of look up to.
Hmm. Yeah, I really appreciate your humbleness. I've seen, I joined the ROC family, and
Yep.
seeing how you interact is nice. So I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just try to learn from like the people that I meet and just, just I feel like you get what you give. Right.
totally. Yes, I wish more people would just follow that golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. It's easy.
Exactly. Like the Spearhead song, you know,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
uh, um, you know, one thing that like somebody taught me, was like, she always gives a couple extra bucks to the toll booth. So whenever I
Oh
go
wow.
through, I try to, instead of giving $1, give $2. And it's happened to me where I have it, the other day I didn't have any dollars and I was like, my Easy Pass is broken. And they're like,
uh,
you're all set. Somebody paid for you. And it's just like
it's
random acts
bizarre.
of kindness and
Hmm.
one time in San Francisco, I bought this homeless guy some socks and underwear. He wanted money, and I was like, you know what, man, you got holes in your socks. How about I just buy you some socks? And he was like, okay. A lot of
Wow,
times
that's
they'll say
cool.
no because they just want the money for food or drugs and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But this dude was like, yeah, I'll take some socks, man, and a
that's
sandwich
cool.
too. So like and then he like gave me some like great philosophies on life and stuff. Like I like to talk to like homeless people have a lot of wisdom. Like
Hmm.
how did they get there? Sit
Yeah,
and talk with them, you know, show them some compassion and kindness and you might learn something.
yeah. Especially because people don't realize, like, at any moment that could be you. Especially in
Yes.
this day and age.
Yep.
Ugh, this is such a crazy time right now.
Yeah, you
Um,
could be in the military, you could come back, not be able to adapt. Your
yeah,
your wife divorces you, you lose your job, and then all of a sudden, there you are on the park bench. Pretty
yeah,
simple. Could happen in 6 months.
yep. So, how do you got a lot of guys in the band. So, how do you guys come up with the sound, and how do you process, like, your writing process? Do you just write the songs, or?
A lot of times I'll come up with like the lyrics and the chords and a basic kind of bass line and some melodies, and then everybody just whoever it is, kind of adds their own elements to it. Sometimes it'll change. I've been working with a lot of producers lately, and then maybe taking what they've been doing electronically and then have some organic instruments either blend with it or totally replace it. So always trying to come up with new ways to write stuff. And we've had people come in and out of the band, and at this point in time we're blessed to have a lot of the people that have come in and out still contribute studio wise. But they might be busy with a job, or our trombone player tours with Real Big Fish and the Interrupters, and everybody kind of does their own thing sometimes, but they still will come back and work on studio stuff. So it's we kind of have like this collective in the studio, which is pretty dope.
That is cool. Do you think that if Bradley was around, do you think he'd dig your stuff? Do you think he'd dig what you guys are doing?
I don't know. I guess I would have to ask his band members.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, everybody has this fantasy of who he was, but he was a real,
I think there's probably some stuff that he would like, some stuff he would think is derivative, and some stuff that he wouldn't like. I think he loved music and didn't like boundaries or boxes. So maybe some of the more outside of the box stuff that we do, he would like. Like this new instrumental stuff we have. He'd probably like that shit and want to spit over it.
Yeah. I actually, you guys gave me the link for that song, and I listened to it, and I kept waiting for the lyrics to come in. I'm like, and then it was over, and I was like, oh, okay, no lyrics, all right.
Yep.
So people know, on the Anchor episode that I'll have set up with you guys, I have that song, so they'll get to have a little bonus track, and that comes out today.
Dropped the single Arabia featuring Marley from the band Twiddle, an amazing band. Has amazing solo material and stuff. They're from Vermont, and we kind of came up on the same time, and he just shreds it, and tried to make it kind of like a Hotel California Freebird ending there.
Yeah,
I think there's like good. 10 or 11 guitars at once at the end.
I laughed when I looked at the time of it, and I was like, it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds long.
That was just a mistake.
That. Was it really?
Yeah. Or our engineer wanted to do that.
I have a feeling, because I was like, that's funny. That's dedication.
It is. All right, guys, the song's over.
Yeah, right? All right, guys, stop. It's time. How surreal was it to work with Ross MG? That had to be crazy.
That was pretty interesting. Another amazing person. He came to us and he was like, hey, listen, preliminary conversation. Are you open to the idea that if I send you something, it's going to be completely different than what you originally sent me? And I was like,
maybe.
And I was like, yes, okay, yeah, but it was hard. And he what he sent back was like totally different. Like,
was that the remix?
Yeah, it was like,
yeah, I listened to it. I was like, wow,
acoustic guitars, playing chords that I wasn't playing, like drum patterns I wasn't envisioning, just a lot of different stuff.
That's crazy.
So I had to listen to it, 10 times just to clear out the old vision I had in my head. And after that, I was like, you know what? This is badass. I'm good with this.
Yeah.
I make peace with this. This
it's like an honor,
Yeah. So that was awesome. He was great.
Is it a lot of pressure? Because you guys with Melvin Seals too from Grateful Dead, right? So like, or Jerry
Melvin,
Garcia, right?
Yeah, Melvin was Jerry Garcia's right hand man in the
like,
Jerry Garcia
screw
band.
This up.
he found us at a music festival. We played Jerry Jam, and another great human being. I mean, but his playing is like, I'm talking about it, I just got a tingle, and he's
man. I love those people.
He's got that gospel sound on the organ, and he's got two Leslie speakers stacked on top of each other. The top one to listen to, the bottom one, and Mike.
Man.
I mean, he's just a force to be reckoned with. He is
That's cool.
a giant human being, a giant soul, a giant sound. He just he's a
That's
presence,
awesome.
and he brings a lot of laughter and smiles, and
That's
yeah, he's
good.
just great.
It's great being around positive people when you're playing music. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, he's just so professional, and he liked um when we brought him in for an original song, because everybody's always asking him, can you do this Dead song? Can you do
Yeah.
this Jerry song? To be involved in I think he's working on some original material too. Some artists get put in a box, so you know, for them to get outside of it, I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah, honestly, I never really got into the Grateful Dead. I think I had Shakedown Street on CD.
Yep,
But that was about it. And not that I had a problem with it. I liked some of the other stuff they had out, the more popular stuff. But
for
then
sure,
listening to your album, it made me have a whole new appreciation and just, yeah, I really enjoyed it
for sure. And
as
that
a,
was one that I
as
just
a musician.
I couldn't sing properly, and we were just like, fuck it, we're just keeping it instrumental. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want it to sound cheesy.
no, it all worked really good. The whole album, makes, if you didn't like Grateful Dead before,
Yeah,
you might now, and you might makes you listen, because like listening to you guys, I've been doing it the past couple days, and honestly, I enjoy all of it. I really do.
thank you,
I was
thank
doing
you. Yeah,
dishes to it. I was in a Zen mode. Okay, I got to do dishes. You know, so I hope
yeah, it's
that's
fun.
all right.
It's totally all right. It's funny. Like there's some people that say like my kids, they think the Grateful Dead's slow and boring. Then we put
Yeah.
on your version of Fire in the Mountain. They're like, play Roots of Creation version, not the Jerry version.
Yeah.
For kids, it's no knock on the
Mhm.
Grateful Dead, but it's just got a little bit more of
Yeah.
pep in the step. You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But yeah, so it gets the dishwashing seal of approval from me. So
That's great. Do you use a
I have a
dishwasher or hand dry or
no,
what?
no, unfortunately, I have a dishwasher that sits there, but it's not hooked up.
That's what we have
I have
upstairs. That's what we
I
have
have
upstairs.
people that were like, "Yeah, I'll come and hook it up." Contractors are like, they go somewhere else and then they never come back. Like,
They're
all
like,
right,
poof.
well,
They're like a
yeah.
genie.
Oh, I'll be back. I got another job. I'll be back in a couple weeks. Fast forward 4 years later. Ugh. I'm not bitter though, so that's fine. So I have a tough question.
Yep.
This is a toughie. If Sublime called and was like, "Yo, man, we want you to be the lead singer," would you give up Roots to go to them, or do you want to plead the fifth? Because I understand that as well.
I don't think I would have to give up Roots of Creation to do that. I think that I would probably be able to do both. I would just have to pull back the amount of
Boy, wouldn't that be
shows
fun?
I do. So I would probably say yes to that.
And I would like that, honestly. I could totally see that. I don't
Um,
think they would ever do it, but you never know.
I've done some solo acoustic tributes. I've done, you
Sublime with
know,
Brett. There
it's
you
funny.
go.
I've done some songs with Badfish, who I think is an amazing
Yeah, they're good too.
tribute act. Like we've done tours with them. They're great people. Um, that's how I met some of the Noel family in person. So, I think that after doing some shows with them and doing some tributes myself, I most certainly would consider that and have fun every night. Paying tribute for
Oh
sure.
man, that'd be great. Oh, I didn't show you my hat. I wore this just for you.
Oh, that's
I don't know if
awesome.
you can see. And then on the back, it has the, where is it? Oh my god, my bald head. LBC.
Long Beach.
Yep. So yeah, it's one of my faves.
That's amazing.
Had to suck up to you a little bit. Just saying.
I don't have a Nate the drummer shirt or hat. I need to get one.
I don't either.
Where's the podcast swag, man?
Oh, I know.
You
I
need
think I did set up a site. It's
you
all
need
me,
like a
you know.
Nate the drummer bobblehead. You got to go Gene Simmons with this thing.
Yeah, for real. I'm putting out coffins next. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, coffee. Nate
Oh
the
man.
drummer underwear.
Yeah, I don't. I got hanging with Nate the drummer. That kind of
Yeah.
works actually.
Yeah, hanging. Hey, I got some,
Do you have any-
eggplant emoji boxers for Christmas. So,
Did you really?
there's a peach on the back too. That's fun.
Man, talk about things that you never thought would exist.
I know, it's great.
Oh man.
Well, I guess
hey,
I'm
man,
on. I guess I'm on dad duty.
Yeah.
Duty soon. Driving in the
Alright.
snow.
Well, on my behalf, I want to welcome you to my podcast family. You know,
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing. You know, it makes me want to listen to Sublime. Like before it came on, I went back and was listening to Garden Grove because that's what
Yeah.
that was, just the whole album there, and then everything
Yeah.
else. I remember driving in my car when my daughter was little, and singing Myruka.
Yep. Love that
And
one. So
she would
smart.
go bop bop.
Yeah.
and the one part he says he cusses, but she thought he was saying something else. I forget what it is now, but it's so long ago. But yeah, there's so I got her into Sublime, and and I'm trying to get people into Roots of Creation now.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
I'm
it.
gonna, when I get this done and it's all good, I'm gonna send you guys the link, and you can put it out there, and poof, we'll see. You guys will be
Poof,
world famous.
Vamu.
No, I'm just kidding. No, not that you're not already. I don't have a
I-
big following. I'm trying, man, but
When I hear poof, I always think about Jay-Z. He's like, poof, Vamu, son of a bitch.
oh yeah. He's another one that did a reggae song.
Yep.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It was all right, but
Yep.
I prefer Snoop Lion. Snoop Lion.
That's a great album. A lot of
Really
people
is.
probably give me shit for saying it's a good album, but if you don't like it, watch the Netflix documentary, and then you'll have
Yeah.
more appreciation for it. But check out the original version of that song that Jay-Z sampled by Max Romeo. It's pretty dope.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, I will let you go do dad duty. I get it.
Sounds good.
So have a great snow day, and I'll see you on the flippity flop.
Yeah, let's do some virtual jamming. Send me some beats.
Yeah, man. I actually, if we would have had more time, I have a set of bongos. I was going to ask if you wanted an impromptu jam, but we'll save that for another time, I guess.
Hey, send me. This is to be continued. Everybody who's watching the podcast, Nate we're going to hold Nate accountable. He's going to send me some beats, and we're going to create
right.
something out of this meeting of the minds here.
Yeah, if you get a chance, if you're bored on YouTube, look up Sweet Ruckus.
I will.
Tell me what you think.
Sweet Ruckus.
So, Sweet Ruckus.
sounds
shameless plug
kind
for
of
me.
like an innuendo there.
I forget how it came about. It was like, what's this? Oh, it's just some Sweet Ruckus or something. It was, how it goes. Band name.
Sounds like a pickup line, like, "Hey, baby, you want to go make some Sweet Ruckus?"
Yeah, damn. Should have been a love song. I could have put out. It would have been great.
All right, brother.
Man.
Well, I'll talk to you
All
soon,
right,
Nate.
buddy. All right, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Later.
Peace.
See ya. All right, everybody. If you guys don't know, now I hope you do. Go check out Roots of Creation. For real. That guy is so nice and so humble, and it's just an honor for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, and I'm going to have to talk to him again because he's like a brother from another mother. I could sit there and talk to him forever. We both kind of have the red-haired thing going on too. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Every one I'm trying to get better. Yeah, if you like it, please comment, subscribe, like, whatever, and listen to Anchor because their new song is going to be on there. All right, guys. Thank you, and rock on.
Hanging with Nate the drummer.